So these are the last of the tomatoes. Look how beautiful they are. Pretty soon there'll be a frost and
that'll be the end of it.
And there's a pear. Look at that. Natural Boston pear. The only one I think on the tree. So 3.5, with 1/4 of an inch of white. So you think it should be 3.5 inches of max? So it's a city that's always been on the crossroads historically, and I've long been fascinated by the city of Havana, by Cuba as a country, but in particular by Havana. I love cities, and Havana itself is an architectural gem. I went to Havana the first time in the mid-90s when I happened to go there for May Day, and as soon as I saw the city for the first time, I really fell in love with the architecture of the city, with the people in the city. Eventually I learned to speak Spanish, and that made it a lot easier. And I kept going back over the years for on different occasions, different purposes. I had long been interested in photographing and documenting working class culture to begin with. So Cuba was very fascinating to me as a socialist experiment on the doorstep of North America. Canada and Cuba had always had a positive relationship ever since the Cuban Revolution first took place. We had a good relationship with Cuba, and Canadians went to Cuba a lot, and whereas Cuba was off limits to Americans but not to Canada. So we had this environment of positive feelings between the two countries. I returned in 1998 when the Pope John Paul II visited. I knew it was going to be a very important historical moment because the Pope had been visiting every other country in the Americas and had never gone to Cuba. It was the only country he had not gone to. And so that when the Pope went there, of course, he spoke against the American embargo, and the Cubans knew he was going to do that, I'm sure. So it was kind of a recognition by a very important international figure of the importance of the country. The show is about the city of Havana, but I was trying to show the glimpses of daily life by the residents of Havana, and also the conditions that they live in, which are beautiful Art Deco homes, but in dire condition, because they really don't have that many resources in terms of repair, although they are doing quite a bit of work now. So the show is really something about it was based on a book that I did in collaboration with a friend on the concept of house and home. How does one convert a house into a home? And in Cuba, of course, they said, you do that with your heart, because really we don't have that many building materials. We don't have that much wood. We don't have that many bricks. And so a home is a place of the heart. And that kind of really piqued my interest more. And so this show really is a segment from that body of work, but also from previous work that I had done before I worked on this book. My name is Vincenzo PIetropaolo. I'm a photographer based in Toronto. And for most of my career, I've been concentrating on documenting the social conditions, social justice issues, both here in Canada and abroad. My next show is called Havana, City at a Crossroads. It's organized by James Rottman Fine Arts, and it will take place at the Charlotte Hale Gallery in Mirvish Village in Toronto.